Hey, so today I'm going to be doing a video on TNT mechanics. So, this is the second video on my How to Cannon series, and I wanted to do something more like sand comps or another part of a cannon that you guys can use to because we did boosters last time. But I felt like this was important. I actually meant to make this my first video, but I never did that. So I'm gonna do it now, and then next upload probably tomorrow. It will be something more like something that you can actually build. So this is gonna be something that you need to know before you start cannoning to like understand everything. So this isn't, the most in-depth tutorial, but uh, I can certainly make one like later. But this is stuff that you need to know. So there's obviously gonna be stuff missing, but for the most part, this is what you're gonna need to know for now. So first, I'm gonna show how TNT works. So, say you're just shooting a TNT linearly like this, right? Most people who haven't cannons think, oh, it'll just go like diagonal and like make an arc. Well, it actually doesn't go diagonal. What happens? So like people think it goes like this. Like say you have a cannon, right? This is your power. This is whatever you're shooting. It'll just go like diagonal, then it'll hit the roof and it'll go forward. No, that's not what happens. What actually happens is instead of it going diagonal, it goes straight up, then straight forward. So when you're shooting a piece of TNT like sorry, when you're shooting a piece of TNT like this, you don't need like a guider because it's just gonna it's gonna make its own triangle because it's not much power if you just have like one piece of TNT here. And it will look diagonal, so if I light this, it will look like it's, it looks like it's curving, but it's really not. It's going up just a little bit and then out. So it's, although like you can't see it visually, that's what's happening. And I'll prove it over here. So what happens when you're shooting it is it goes straight up, straight forward, or whatever direction you're shooting. So here's an example here. So I'm shooting, this is my power. I'm just using it as my power, and I'm shooting this TNT here. And I'm going to show that it doesn't diagonally curve up. It goes straight up till it hits this guider, right? And then straight forward. So the reason why we have guiders, by the way, like even though TNT does triangle on its own, the reason we have guiders is so we can like help control it, and we pretty much direct our own triangle. So instead of it going up super far with a lot of power, we just stop it right here, and then once it's like, oh, I can't go up anymore, it changes direction to forward. So that's why I have a guider here. Otherwise, we would just go, TNT would go up super far, and we don't want that. So, as you can see, it shoots through here. And I'll prove it even more by only putting one guider block. Like I said, the TNT should go straight up and then straight forward to the block. So let me show you that. So even though it only has this one tiny block here as a guider, it will still work fine. As you can see, works. So you can also do this like downwards. This is just an example. If you have the power on top and whatever you're shooting down, it'll just go down and forward instead of up and forward. So this is just linear TNT right now. I'm just showing you guys like if you're shooting in like a 2D plane, this is what happens. So I'll show an example with this cannon. So this is a very old 60 stacker that shout out to Rest in TNT. He just printed this in for me. He built it a while ago. So let me show you what happens and how what I'm showing you is applied in a real cannon, because that's what this is all about, right? So I'm gonna do a video on sand comps later, but you'll have your sand shoot into here, okay? So go out here, and then it'll just like go in a line all the way to here. So you have your sand there, and you have your power here, because your power will be shot from these boosters up into this slab. And then your hammer, after all of it falls and is boosted and pushed out by this piston, will end up here. Okay? So right now, your sand and your hammer are in the same block. So this is not with the fusion, by the way. I'm showing you like this is not how fusion works. Because fusion, you have two shots. But I'll explain that in a later video. So, what happens is your power goes off, right? So once your power shoots, first it'll affect the sand because the sand is the closest to it. So the sand will be like, all right, let's go up. So, all right, I can't go up anymore, right? Can't go past this block or whatever block it's on. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna go forward. So I'm gonna remove the hammer for a sec. So it's gonna go forward to the wall. So the sand will end up here, okay? Then your hammer, it's pushed out, probably not all the way up there. It's pushed out by this piston, so it'll end up here, right? So you have your power, and once it goes off, I'm just gonna get rid of the sand for visual. Once it goes off, it's gonna the hammer's gonna be like, all right, let's go up first. So it's gonna go up here, all the way to the top of the guider, and then it's gonna be like, all right, let's go out. So it's gonna go out, and it's gonna end up on top of the sand. So it's at the wall. This is how your sand in an entity block is going to be like in your TNT. So what happens is your hammer pushes all the sand down because it's on top of it, and that's how basic old cannons used to work. I mean, they still work now, but this is like your typical, you know, cannon. So it uses, it goes, like I said, goes straight up, straight forward for linear. Okay. And I'm gonna do a more in-depth tutorial. Like, don't worry if you're confused about, everything that's going on. We'll work through it. I'm just showing you the basics of how stuff works. So this is just a side note. I can do full videos on these because they're way more complicated. But I'm just gonna do a quick rundown just in case anyone, in case you run into like anything that has to do with this. So first of all, just so you know, TNT, when you prime it, right now it's a full block. But when you prime it, you can't really see, but there's some spaces on the edge that makes it not a full block. And the reason that's an issue is because, say you have something aligned to like one side, like a TNT aligned to one side and then a TNT aligned to another side, like barely in the block, it won't shoot as far. So that's why on cannons like these, you have these little dispensers here that end up pushing all the power to one side. Like, so it pushes, so it's right here, right? So this booster will go off and it'll push it just all the way to this side. And then you'll have your sand, which is obviously going to be hitting this wall, so it's also going to be on this side. And then you have your hammer also hitting this side on the wall. So that just helps the range. So that's just a quick fact. It's just TNT is not a full block when it's primed. Second, it's called order of entities, and it's how things are dispensed. So pretty much what happens is, say I dispense a sand, or like I turn a sand into an entity block, and then I turn a TNT into the entity block, and I shoot them both out. The sand will be on the bottom because it was dispensed. It was turned into an entity before the TNT was. So I'm not gonna go into depth now because that's a little bit more of a complicated issue, but that's how pseudos work. That's how nukes work. Or you can have issues with your nukes if it's not proper, if the order of entities isn't right. But that's how pseudos work. I'll go into to more in-depth videos, as we go on. But just know those two things. So anyway, off of our tangent. We talked about linear TNT, how it goes straight up and straight out, right? Straight up, straight out. So now let's talk about TNT that's in a 3D shape. So you have TNT that's like, instead of it being like this, right, you have it like this. So you would say, oh, it just goes diagonal that way. No, this is where things get a little bit more complicated. You might see, look, you might look at this red wool and be like, oh yeah, that's how it's gonna go. And I can, you can visualize it like that, but that's not what oops, lit the wrong one. Anyway, but you'll see, it'll be like, yeah, it's just going diagonal, just vibing through the air. Diagonally, right? But no, that's not actually what's happening. So what actually happens is, this is how it's going to be set up. What's actually happening is it goes up like usual, but instead of going forward, it's going to go left or right depending on how you have it. So this one will go left because it's like shooting this way, but if it was shooting this way, it would go right. But and this also depends on your guider. This is just a rundown. But anyway, so it's going to go straight up. We're going to stop it if we have a lot of power because we want to simulate our own triangle so that we can control it and it doesn't shoot up forever if we have a lot of power. And then and then it's gonna be, all right, can't go up anymore. So instead of going forward like the linear cannon, it'll go right or left. So in this case, it's gonna go left, and we're gonna do another block here, so we can stop it, and then it'll start going forward. So it ends up making this pattern, right? See, you can see it. You can picture like a diagonal line because it'll end up in the same spot, but this is just how it's triangulated. So I'm gonna show you exactly how it works. So this is a multi-dispenser, so it's just going to shoot a lot of power here. And then this is just so this is your power, this is just your scatter or whatever. So what's going to happen is going to go straight up first, then it's going to go left up until it hits a block, and it'll hit this block right here. And then it's going to start going forward. So this is how most modern barrels are laid out. So with different guides and stuff, but it was a little bit hard to see here. Let's do it like this. There you go. So now you can see. So straight up, straight left or right, and then straight forward. So that's, when you hear triangles, and because it kind of makes a triangle shape. If you connect this, it'll make a triangle. So yeah. Now let me show you with so this is how triangles were first used, like majorly. So they were first used as a regen buster on things called floating barrels. So what floating barrels are, they use triangles, and you can just pick wherever you want to adjust. Usually they're only in like a 5 or 6 wide box because they were new, so people didn't really know how to like use them to adjust, which I'll show you in a more modern cannon how to do it. But people were like boxed all around it because they didn't think, or they thought that TNT would like fly somewhere else. But no, now knowing what we do today, we know that we don't need all of this extra surrounding stuff because TNT always follows in a same pattern. So let me show you what happens. So you have your power coming here, dispensed up into here, and then you have some pistons over here that boost the TNT to this block, and then you'll have your sand come in over here, and like some other stuff, your hammer and stuff. But I'm just gonna show you sand for now because sand and TNT go in the same pattern, like like the same direction. Like whatever I'm showing you triangling with TNT also works with sand. There's some differences when you're I'm not gonna go into it actually because it's not important. You won't need to know it. But anyway, so let's see what happens first. So the sand's gonna go straight up, right, and then it's gonna go left, and then it's gonna go forward. So I have a block right here stopping it, so it can't go left. So it's just gonna go straight out onto that bedrock because it's a triangle. Even though it's not right next to each other like this, it's still a like it's still diagonally being boosted. So let me fire it and show you. Let me remove this sand out. Okay, so now let's change the guider. So instead of having it here, we'll have it here. So what's gonna happen now? So same thing. Sand will end up here or here. TNT will end up here, right? So let's follow the path of the sand. So first what will happen? We'll go up, right? And then we'll go left because it's being triangled. So we'll go left, and then we'll go forward. So let me show you. It's all using the same concept, even though they... Did I do something wrong? What did I do wrong? Huh. So I must have done something wrong. Some sand stuck in the barrel. There might be something wrong with the cannon. Um, I'm not gonna fix it right now, but yeah, when we pretty much what happened is the sand would go here, out, and forward. So Fluxwave, you can go work on the cannon. This is Reston TNT. He built these two, by the way. But you can go fix it and let us know. Anyways, so this is my quick print that I built a couple weeks ago. It's not wired or anything correctly. Like I just built it real quick to show you what happens. So, like I said, TNT diagonally, shoots in that triangle pattern that we talked about, right? So, what we have here, I'm gonna go into a full video on guiders because guiders are, very important when it comes to using triangles in modern cannons. So what will happen is my power will end up here in this block, and then everything else will end up on this trap door, like hitting this trap door right here. And the reason why I have a trap door here is so that it's pushed. If you think about it, remember TNT is not a full block when prime, so it'll get closer to this power, but still see you have a little bit of a space here where it's pushed a little bit closer to this TNT, this power, but it's still not linear. It's still not like that. So I can't visualize it because TNT is a full block here, so obviously it'll just end up linearly because it's a full block, right? But when it's primed, it'll scoot over to here, and then it'll boost still in a triangle pattern. So what will happen is it'll go up, it'll hit this guider, it'll go over here, and then it'll go forward. So just in the exact same pattern as we've been going over. This is just how TNT works. It's, not, I mean, it is ideal because, it helps us make all these cannons that we can make today. That would suck if TNT was going in a diagonal pattern. Because, this is how pretty much what's evolved cannoning. But, so, let's see, I don't know if he's got the cannon working, but, this is not everything that you need to know. There's a lot of stuff, but this is like a good rundown of the stuff that you're going to need to know for building your own cannon. So the TNT mechanics are very, very, very important, and I wish I knew this stuff before I started cannoning, which is like 6 years ago. So like this stuff wasn't, like there were no triangles. I mean, there were triangles, but no one knew about triangles. So anyway, going off to my guider thing that I was showing you, where like you can push your, push your TNT closer to your power, so it can adjust farther. I want to show you a couple of other common barrels. There are so many that people use, but these are just some basic ones. So you have your stair. So what will happen is you have your power here, and then you have your other whatever you're shooting in this like tiny divot here of the stair. So it's like inside, like on this crease, and so this is used to adjust like further X instead of opposed to here, which is meant to shoot up more when you use a trapdoor. I'm not going to go into different types of barrels right now. I'm just showing you different. I'm not going to go like full detail. But you can also use fences. You can use anvils. There's plenty of guiders out there that each have their own pros and cons. But we're going to go into that all when we start making, like more modern cannons. Right now I'm just showing you the basics of everything. So anyway, this video is getting a little bit long. Pesca, did you fix it? Oh, okay. He said it works. So let me show you the barrel. Well, no, it worked like this. I was talking about. Did you fix it adjusting? Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna show you it now. Or did I set it up wrong? Oh, I see. I put it here. So it was actually going next to the wall. So anyway. So this is showing just the old way of triangling is called yeah, so oh wait, I don't have it fired. Alright, he's firing. Anyway. So yeah, this is called a floating barrel. This is what used to be used. But yeah, so next episode is probably going to be sand comps or something more like technical that you can build. But I just thought that this was important, and there's a lot more stuff that needs to be covered, so I'll cover it in a later video once it's more relevant. But yeah, so I'll probably have the video out in the next couple days, and thanks for watching, and let me know if I missed anything, or if you have any suggestions. See ya.